Yeah.
He's the man.
But yeah, I think it's important to come out one thing. This is not a way the West has so down fast. A lot of people just want to do.
Is that the jet?
That we're very happy.
Good afternoon, Facebook Live. We got a good one for you here today. I'm here with Todd. And Todd, thanks for being here, one. And what brings you to Concordia?
Yeah, well, it's really exciting to be here. I just came, had kind of a big roundtable conversation, strategic dialogue, and focused on a lot of things, but really this idea that there's just an unprecedented time in terms of the kind of a crisis for internationally for refugees, but then here in the United States, with immigrants' rights and immigration policy really being at the forefront, what can the private sector do, what can the public sector do? And so I'm a president of an organization called Forward.us. We've been around for 5 years working on immigration policy here in the United States, criminal justice policy, and to get to sit next to folks from foundations, from government agencies, people doing resettlement work, leaders in the private sector. I think people are trying to really understand what more can a diverse group of stakeholders do, to deal with the fact that whether it's in the United States where immigration is also seen in a political context, whether it is seen across the world, ultimately there are tens of millions of people who are in these incredibly adverse situations, and here in the United States, we are really focused on what can we do to have better immigration policies and have more rights for people in the United States, and ultimately we think that's going to help everyone in the United States.
Well, I hope it helps everyone too, and it's definitely a need that needs addressing. It looks like Forward.us is doing that. Now, what is the one thing that you're most excited about moving forward in this year?
Excited, that's a good question. I think the places where we are, I'll tell you a little about what we've been up to. We have been very focused for the last year, making sure that the American public is aware that since DACA was repealed, that's the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, on September 5th of 2017, we've been fighting to keep that program in place and to get Congress to pass permanent protections for Dreamers. Dreamers are young undocumented immigrants. They came to this country as children, as minors. The average Dreamer came here at the age of 6. They've been here for 20 years on average. They go to, they went to American elementary schools and American high schools. They're working at every single major company in America. Some of them serve in the military. They are our families, they are members, they are American in every sense.
Right.
And so we've been really focused on getting Congress to pass permanent protections. We're also really happy that the program is still in place, thanks to some litigation and this huge public outcry. Another thing we've been really focused on was this family separation crisis you saw at the border. And this was awful. The United States government broke apart about 3,000 families. And to see so many folks, and there's a lot of folks who are here today focused on this, from people who had never gotten engaged politically, but they were upset about what they saw, to CEOs, to faith leaders, to engage in saying this is absolutely wrong, and then to help these families get back together. That's something we've been really thankful for the work. In terms of looking forward, making sure that we ultimately are pushing towards an immigration policy in the United States that upholds the best of our values, that actually works and functions, and it's best for stronger communities and a stronger economy. It's been 50 years since we have had a real overhaul of the immigration system, and we really think we need that. So that's what we've been speaking with people about here today, and we're really thankful to have so many of our great partners here too. Folks like Uber, who's been an incredible partner to us, and others. Really thankful to be here today with us.
And anyone watching this stream knows that with any job, with any organization, it's hard to get a bill through Congress, no matter who we are.
Yeah.
So, what are the factors that go into play, and what is something that people watching this could probably do to help out, something like that?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. The most important thing to understand here is it's easy to get lost in the noise, not like the background noise, the noise of politics. Here's what makes a difference. Call your member of Congress. Call your member of Congress and say, this is not just something I support, but it's really important to me. Go to a town hall meeting. Make your voice heard. Like, the basic tenets of democracy work.
Right.
People actually want to represent their constituents for the most part. And so we try to make that easier for people. Now, how does a bill become a law? Look, the election in the United States is 8 weeks away, 7 weeks away. I think the chances of big legislation moving in the next 7 weeks are pretty small. But we need to be setting up so that when there's a new Congress, when there's a better political moment, we can have that happen. That's only going to happen when people hear from folks. So whether you're thinking about who you're voting for or whether you're thinking about making that phone call, it really makes a difference.
Interesting. So, Todd, when you're speaking about this, I feel like you could go on for this the entire day. It looks like you're really.
I could.
This is something you're really
I talk a lot.
about.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Something
no,
really
but yeah,
passionate.
that's true. Yeah.
So what is driving this passion? What is driving Forward.us? What is your story?
You know, I think that when you think about like basic human rights, I think too often we forget things like just because you cross a border, it doesn't mean that you stop being a human. And when you think about what is it that's made this country great? And it's been a few things. And one of those things is for the last couple hundred years, and really the last century and a half, we've really benefited from being a place that's a beacon of hope from around the world. A place that, albeit very imperfectly, welcomes people from around the world. And we believe that immigrants and immigration are what make our country strong, what make our country great. We no longer have a system of immigration laws that uphold that. And instead, immigrants are the most vulnerable, often become a political pawn and part of our politics. And these are tough issues, and they're divisive issues. But we think that there's a whole group of people in the middle of this country, and if we engage them, then we can ultimately build a better country by having a country that once again welcomes immigrants, that integrates people, and then we're all stronger because of that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, Todd, appreciate your time here on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Best
Really
of luck
appreciate
going
it.
forward, and thanks for all the good work.
Thanks, sir. This is great. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.